I'm Scott.
I'm Ben.
And this is a review. On today's episode, which is episode 77, we'll be reviewing The Lion King 2019. The Lion King 2019 stars every celebrity, and it is a shot-for-shot remake of The Lion King. Ben, what do you think?
I've seen some comparisons of this to Gus Van Sant's shot-for-shot remake of Psycho, and after watching it, I find it hard to disagree. Granted,
well, okay, but at the very least, this was different in the sense that it had a different style. The Gus Van Sant Psycho, there's nothing different about it other than the cast.
That's true.
And
yes.
but this at least, they went with a photorealistic style,
yep.
Right? That's the big thing. That's the big draw. And boy, do those animals look photorealistic. It's really, 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 really well done. The effect, who cares? Kind of at the end of the day, it's like they did it, but they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's a technical marvel, that is to be sure.
Can't deny that.
I was thinking about this and another Disney movie that rocked my world when I was a child. That's probably the closest thing they have as far as a reference is Dinosaur.
Okay.
So in 2000, they made a movie called Dinosaur.
Of course.
So it was all live action environments for the most part, but it was like these really lifelike, high, for the time, advanced animated dinosaurs.
Those were real environments?
For the most part, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I
haven't seen it since the year 2000 when the movie came out. In the year 2000. 19 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so to see this and then see that and then the leap we've made to where this is almost like Avatar level, every single thing in this movie is computer generated. There's not a single frame of live action.
Yeah, I was wondering that watching it. So they didn't film any real...
No,
okay.
This is a fully virtual production. So this was all filmed and made in VR and animated over years and years and years. And it's insane. The level of photorealism is insane. But it is also the greatest strength of the film. It's a double-edged sword. It's also its greatest weakness because being a plucky, awesome... like Gonzo, we were watching some clips last night. OG Lion King is artistically super stylized and really, really bold and experimental.
I mean, you can break it down very simply by saying the cartoon, the original one, is very colorful. This new cartoon, because that's what it fucking is, a really good-looking cartoon. Fuck you all for anything you say otherwise. It's a cartoon because it's all in a digital environment, like you said. Mm-hmm. It is photorealistic. And it is bland. It is brown on brown on brown. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just earth tones.
Earth tones, exactly. So you've got colorful and vibrant versus bland, and that really is what kind of ruins this movie. Now, okay, I will say, you start off this movie, it's incredible. When you sit down and you've got the the Lion King thing.
You betcha.
Going off in the background. Your heart is swelling. You're seeing and the shots are exactly the same. And I will say the neat thing about this, which is almost just more of a strength of the original cartoon, is how they were able to literally take every single shot for the most part, the main movie plot, not the crazy stuff, and translate it directly into this movie, even down to when Simba's chasing the beetles, and it's all accurate, and all the stuff is not just looking real, but the fact that it feels real, but it's still so reminiscent of the original thing. It's just a neat idea, when you're watching, you're like, wow, this was all real, it just was animated, I don't know.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's just, especially with the Circle of Life sequence, that sequence in OG Lion King is straight up, regardless of medium or genre, one of the best sequences in modern cinema.
It's really well done.
It's just exceptional. So yes, with heightened technology, you can literally do that word for word and it's gonna fucking work and rule for the most part.
And they get you early on because baby Simba's adorable and it's really just overwhelming at first. And then as it goes along, you're still going with it. And I would say around I Can't Wait to Be King, of course, the big next musical number.
Yeah.
That's when you start to notice the flaws, because that musical number gets really creative. There's animals stacked on top of each other, and then they create this like blooming flower effect that's like spinning around, and it's all like beautiful colors, and they all fall, and it's like they can't do all of that obviously because this is photorealistic. And so what you end up with is just Simba and Nala running around between the animals, a lot of which are in the original sequence. They're there, but like, you know what I mean? It just loses so much of the fun of that movie.
Exactly. I will say this, Baby Simba is probably where, like you said, that's where kind of they nailed the most. Not only do I think, like with Baby Simba and Baby Nala and Timon and Pumbaa,
and Zazu, all the interaction with him,
Zazu for the most part too, they
John
really
Oliver,
they really nail like that balance between like the photorealism and sort of the emoting, and the voice performances. Like Baby Simba is really wonderfully, and Baby Nala are like really wonderfully played. It's really good voice work by both the young actors. I think it's
Baby Nala was the girl from Us, right?
Correct. Yeah, and it's the guy who voices Baby Simba is like J.D. McCreary, who's been in some stuff. They're both really, really good. Like they're really lively and fun, and
and they're reminiscent of the original characters,
absolutely,
but still feel fresh. Yeah, they're great. As soon as you get to Hakuna Matata, which once again, like the first half of it's nice, and then as it goes along, it just turns. As soon as Simba becomes Donald Glover, it sucks. Like Donald Glover. First of all, we're both fans of Donald Glover, even though I feel like we're always shitting on him on the show because I feel like he can't get it right in movies. He's never, I don't know. It's like they keep miscasting him in things. Like I liked him in Guava Island. That's probably the best thing we've talked about with him. But even then, that was flawed. So like, I don't know what it is with him in movies, but he is so miscast in my opinion as Simba because Donald Glover is now way too fucking cool, and Simba as an adult is fucking lame. Do you know what I mean? And like cool, like it's like if it was Troy from Community, Donald Glover, I would buy it more. But like now he's Childish Gambino, and he's one of the coolest people out there, and he's like, you know what I mean, one of my idols, and it's like hearing him like, it means no worries, and like singing this kiddie song, and like his lines are so lame, and like it's like contrasted with he sounds way cooler delivering them, but it's like it makes him sound so corny, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just like I hated this character. It just bothered me the whole time.
I think it just be boiled down he phoned it in. Like,
that's what it is.
I just like, I genuinely do not think he really tried at all. I think he read the lines in an expressive enough way to where Disney wouldn't be mad with like whatever insane paycheck they gave him to sit in a booth and record lines and a couple songs.
Him and Beyonce both phoned it in big time.
I think Beyonce actually did better than Donald Glover.
She did.
She at least has like tinges of like warmth and emotion pretty consistently.
Yeah. But she also has less, like adult Nala has a lot less screen time.
That's also true.
You know what I mean? Like
she really only has 10 lines, maybe.
And
like,
she's there.
Not too much.
She shows up to help him from Timon and Pumbaa, and then she basically disappears till the end of the movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
she's part of the fight a little bit at the end.
Yeah. I mean, she's not like not involved, but as a voice character. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's how the original one is too. It's kind of like once you get to Hakuna Matata, the movie's just kind of over. You know what I mean? It's like, and Simba fucks around for a while, and he's a hippie, and then he comes back. Saves the day.
Exactly.
And it's kind of anticlimactic, I think. Like the fight with Scar has always just been like, oh yeah, he just kind of pushes him off the thing. Okay, bye. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's hard because one of the most iconic moments in the movie happens in the beginning of the end of the first act with Mufasa dying.
Yeah.
Which I think
because that sequence is such a showstopper too. I just think overall the fight scene with Scar, like even in OG, is kind of just like meh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think this one actually they tried to like
they ramped it up,
spice it up a little bit.
I thought it was kind of sweet actually.
The hyena fights and stuff. But even then, I think at that point I was just ready to go home. I was like, I've had enough.
My main issue as far as like changes, because like even amongst the shot for shotness, there are some kind of riffs. The worst riff is the handling of Rafiki in this one. Like Rafiki has like no like just feels like he's just kind of there. He doesn't feel nearly as like an active character as he is in the original, and it's to the detriment. I think.
I mean, what else? What scenes did they cut out with him? I don't really remember, because I feel like they had all the big stuff with him. He still did.
They
the
have
thing
the
where
highlights, but just like it's missing because he has less dialogue.
I think what it was, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but maybe they just wanted to tone it down because I feel like he was very like eccentric in the old ones, and maybe like they thought it was like too. I don't know. I really don't know. Actually, I haven't really like he was a little bit too like old school shaman-y maybe. Maybe they thought it was like racist or something. I really don't know. Actually, I have no idea. I don't know what it would be, or like they thought it was like kitschy, or they thought it was because he used to be very like, you know what I mean, like that
he's
goofy
super,
laugh,
like
like
he's like super, he's super like high energy, very gonzo in the original. And like, there's still like that shaman stuff in this one, which is why I was confused of like, why, like he just seems minimized to its detriment because like the whole part of his charm was like he was like this wild, like, you know, with like a really good heart, like you with
I feel like
minimizing him, you lose the emotion with him too.
I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like that's what they were trying to do, was like tone down the shamanness to him. Because it felt like they were doing like they still had like him doing the paintings on this thing, but they had less of the like him brewing up potions with, you know what I mean, like when he was mixing all the stuff and and then like actually creating the paint. He was just making paint. Like it wasn't like he was doing anything that crazy. I don't know. I noticed it though. I noticed it felt like they were trying to like avoid something with him, and I don't know exactly. Maybe there was some like voodoo stuff in the original one we weren't really realizing. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue.
It's weird.
I noticed it, and it was weird to me. Also, speaking of things that they had in the original one, they took out all the Nazi references to the hyenas and the Scar song. If you think I'm making this up, go back and watch the Scar song from the cartoon. The hyenas are literally goose-stepping to Scar, who's standing above them. Like, it's pretty blatant. Yeah. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, they're supposed to be, like, Nazi evil characters.
Yeah, he's a power-hungry, essentially a fascist. Like, he's an oppressive ruler that's subjugating the lionesses and, like...
Yeah. It's not a wrong comparison. Yeah. It's just, obviously they took it out.
It's a little more on the nose than the original.
Yeah. Now, in the original, they also had all that green, like, gooey fire and stuff with that song. They removed all of that, so that song's a total, like, wet fart.
It's just like a tar pit.
Yeah. It's like everything they kind of just toned down and made it... They took away the stylized elements, and it's kind of just boring. So, yeah, you get to the ending, and you're just kind of... I don't know.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight occurs during the day. And I texted Scott about this yesterday because it just like popped in my head.
Yeah.
I was putting it all together. And I was like, this is a $250 million movie. This has every single, I read this huge breakdown they did in the Hollywood Reporter of like the massive, just the marketing machine behind this movie. And like the full strength of the Disney apparatus and every scope and corner of their media empire is working to promote and sell this movie.
Oh, yeah. It's been full swing.
So...
How did they fuck this up?
How the fuck did no one be like, hey, man, Can You Feel the Love Tonight takes place during the day. Can we just, like, color correct this so it actually takes place at night and it's not, like, fucking, like, mind-bogglingly, completely illusion-breakingly incongruent with the lyrics and the original version? Like, it blew my mind. I just can't wrap my mind around it.
Yeah.
How a movie this big and this massive, like, no one like, did anyone think this was a problem? Like, this is a massive problem, and it's just, like, there. Yeah, and they're just like, whatever.
Like, they had to have watched this movie several times.
Yeah, you know like, the test screening process on this was probably insane.
Yeah,
and they've already made the movie.
No, like, they intentionally did that. That was a decision they decided to do, and they stuck with it, and that's that. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
I'm just fucking stunned. Like, I don't know how that's the thing. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
Jon Favreau, the director.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Shit.
I don't know. That's something we may never know. Hopefully somebody will open up about this in an interview. Somebody's got to address this.
I will purposely go to a Q&A for this movie and be part of the audience to ask that. I'm being wholeheartedly curious right now.
Like,
why in God's green earth does Can You Feel the Love Tonight in Lion King 2019
they're just going to deny it.
Take place
they're
during
be like,
the day?
It is at night. And they're just going to act like you're like a moon landing denier or something. Like,
yeah, they're going to treat me like a flat earther.
John Favreau's going to punch you in the nose.
Like he's going to go full Happy Hogan on me.
Yeah.
Beat my ass.
Yeah, it's baffling. To the movie's credit, I'll say the best thing about it for me, other than looking really good, which we've said many times in the show, should not be a positive critique of a movie. If it's a expensive movie, it should look good.
Yeah, it should be technically competent.
So it just should be. Timon and Pumbaa, Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen, I would say, steal the show. They're the only characters that diverge from the original movie to a serious degree. Like their dialogue and like what they're doing, even then, it's not that drastic. But like they have the most improv, goofy commentary, meta humor stuff that's like making fun of what's going on. They can't save this thing. They're not in it enough, unfortunately. That's all I could say. I mean, like, there's not much else to this movie. I think we're ready for final thoughts. Ben, final thoughts on The Lion King 2019.
Lion King 2019 is a technical marvel for the most part. Obviously, it's super impressive. The level of detail and photorealism to which this movie and like the entire method of the production behind the movie is obviously a game changer. But yeah, this is also essentially a shot-for-shot remake of a movie from 1994, and it really doesn't take much beyond that. Yes, there's obviously perks like, pluses you can throw at it, like a far more, a cool, diverse, more, like rooted in, like strong, like people of color with Beyonce and Donald Glover. Like obviously you're able to update it and make it more current and everything. But a lot of the times the photorealism is what is often its greatest hindrance, where you kind of lose that emotional and artistic kind of rapture that you get from like these show-stopping OG sequences from Lion King. I think part of it is just it's lightning in a bottle. You just kind of can't match, essentially a perfect movie. So it's cool. It's worth seeing. If you're a fan, like you'll like this to varying stages. Some like amazing to like it was cool and fine, and that's where I'm at. It was cool and fine. I'd give it 6 scurrying beetles out of 10. It's okay. Cool.
It's cool and fine. Okay. This movie's boring. It's really boring. Like it's very dry. It really, all it has going for it is, like you said, it's photorealistic. Timon and Pumbaa are funny, and there are lots of moments that will make you remember the moments you actually love from the better movie, which is the cartoon from the 90s. Somehow they've added almost 30 minutes onto this, despite it being a shot-for-shot remake. And even then, it feels like they've taken away from almost every single scene. So I don't know how they've removed things that we liked, and still the movie's longer, and it still feels like everything is still there. Like for the, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's very confusing to me. Donald Glover, I think, was seriously miscast. Him and Beyonce were phoning it in. About halfway through the movie, it's just done. Just walk away. I don't even think I can recommend this. Just watch the original one. Because honestly, the whole time I was watching this, I just wanted to go back and watch the original one. That would have been a much better use of my time. If you have to go see this, if you're at the Hakuna Matata point in the movie and you're feeling bored, just get up and leave. Because you already know how it ends. On that note, it does look pretty. It's photorealistic. It gets a 5 lions.
A pride of lions. Roar.
Yeah, 5 lions out of 10, because this movie doesn't warrant anything better than that. Yeah, I don't think you need to see this, but you know what? You probably already have seen this. So what?
It'd be like $200 billion opening weekend.
Yeah. What else? What else is there to say? So on that very dour note, that is our review of The Lion King 2019. Surprise! We're basically saying what everyone else is saying. It looks nice. It's not very interesting. Next review will most undoubtedly be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino's latest flick. So keep your eyes and ears out for that. They'll be releasing next week. Early time next week, probably Monday or Tuesday. And that's that. So as always, I'm Scott.
I'm Ben.
And this has been a review. Thanks for listening.